Comfrey, the healing plant they banned in 2001. For over 2,000 years, every healer, every farmer, and every mother in Europe knew this plant. They called it knitbone. They used it to heal broken bones, infected wounds, and failing crops. It grew in every garden. It cost nothing. It required nothing. And it worked so consistently across so many centuries that dismissing it required deliberate effort from people with a financial reason to dismiss it. The Romans documented comfrey use in precise medical detail over 2,000 years ago. Roman physicians prescribed it for fractures, sprains, and deep tissue injuries. The active compound they did not know the name of, allantoin, accelerates cell proliferation, meaning it speeds up the rate at which your body repairs damaged tissue. 2,000 years before biochemistry, the Romans had identified a plant that did something no other plant did as reliably or as consistently. Medieval healers across Europe used comfrey in battlefield medicine for centuries. When a soldier broke a bone in the field, the healer reached for comfrey root. The poultice was applied directly to the injury. Soldiers returned to battle faster than they should have by any reasonable expectation. The knowledge was so consistent and so widely validated that it persisted through centuries of European history without ever needing a clinical trial or a research paper or an institution to certify it. The root system of comfrey is one of the most extraordinary in the plant kingdom. It goes down 6 feet or more into subsoil layers that no other garden plant can access. It mines minerals, potassium, calcium, phosphorus, and trace elements from deep in the earth and concentrates them in its leaves. When those leaves decompose on the surface, all of those deep minerals become available to the shallow-rooted vegetables growing beside it. It is a mineral pump that runs continuously for free. Traditional European farmers understood this property intuitively without knowing the mechanism. Comfrey was planted at the edges of fields and gardens, not just for medicine, but because everything grew better near it. The leaves were cut and laid as mulch. They were fermented in water to make a liquid feed that smelled terrible and worked extraordinarily well. This practice continued for centuries across Europe as an unremarkable part of ordinary farming knowledge. In the 1970s, researchers began isolating pyrrolizidine alkaloids from comfrey. These compounds exist in many plants and at extreme doses can cause liver damage in rats. The studies that established this gave rats isolated alkaloids at doses equivalent to a human eating nothing but comfrey leaves for months, continuously at every meal. Not occasional use, not traditional use. Industrial doses of isolated compounds administered to force a toxic result. That is the science that ended 2,000 years of safe traditional use. Here is what the dose comparison actually looks like. The studies used pyrrolizidine alkaloid concentrations many hundreds of times higher than anything present in normal comfrey consumption. Traditional use involved occasional poultices on the skin, occasional leaf mulch in the garden, and periodic herbal preparations, none of which approached the doses required to produce the toxic effects observed in the rat studies. The distinction between traditional use and the study conditions was enormous. It was not reflected in the regulatory response. In 2001, the FDA issued an advisory effectively restricting internal comfrey use in the United States. The action was based on the pyrrolizidine alkaloid research. Traditional herbalists immediately noted that the studies did not reflect real-world use conditions. Researchers in Europe and elsewhere continued publishing work on comfrey's allantoin content and wound healing properties. The FDA restriction stood regardless. 2,000 years of documented safe traditional use was weighed against rat studies using extreme isolated doses. The rat studies won. Meanwhile, the pharmaceutical industry had identified allantoin, the primary healing compound in Comfrey, as an extraordinarily useful molecule. It accelerates cell proliferation. It softens skin. It reduces inflammation. It speeds wound healing. It is now synthesized industrially and added to skincare products, creams, and wound treatments sold for significant amounts per bottle in pharmacies and health food stores across the developed world. The same compound, synthesized, patented in formulation, sold back to you at premium price. The plant it comes from, restricted from internal use. The economic logic is not complicated. A plant anyone can grow from a root cutting that costs a few dollars produces allantoin continuously for free for the rest of its life. A synthesized pharmaceutical-grade allantoin product can be patented in formulations sold through distribution chains and repriced annually. One of these business models requires that you not grow the plant. The regulatory environment that emerged in 2001 serves one of these models significantly better than the other. You are intelligent enough to draw your own conclusions about what that means. Here is what Comfrey actually does in your garden that no purchased product can replicate. The deep roots mine subsoil minerals continuously. The leaves decompose rapidly and release those minerals to your vegetable plants. The plant regrows after cutting within weeks. You can cut it 3 or 4 times per season, and the root mass gets larger and more productive every year, rather than smaller. One plant installed this year will still be feeding your garden in 20 years at zero cost, with zero inputs from you or anyone else. Growing Comfrey requires almost nothing. Order root cuttings. Click the link in the description. Plant them 4 inches deep in any sunny spot in your garden. Water once to establish, then almost nothing. Comfrey is one of the most drought-tolerant plants you can grow once its deep root system establishes in your soil. It will not die. It will not fail. The only way to remove an established Comfrey plant is to dig out every fragment of root, which is why traditional farmers never worried about losing it once they had it. Planting Comfrey takes minutes and produces results for decades. Press the root cutting 4 inches deep into prepared soil in any sunny location. A single cutting establishes quickly and begins mining subsoil minerals within its first season. By year 2, the root mass doubles. By year 3, it is a permanent fixture of your garden that propagates itself, feeds your soil, and asks nothing from you in return. One afternoon of planting, a lifetime of results. Here is what a mature Comfrey planting means for a homestead garden. Zero purchased nitrogen fertilizer, because Comfrey mulch provides it continuously. Zero purchased potassium fertilizer, because Comfrey mines it from subsoil and deposits it on your surface. Zero purchased wound care products for minor injuries, because you have a living pharmacy growing beside your vegetables. Zero purchased animal feed supplements, because your livestock eat it freely. One plant, multiple functions, permanent installation, zero ongoing cost. A mature Comfrey plant is one of the most visually commanding things in any garden. What begins as a small root cutting becomes within 3 to 4 years a dense flowering mass that can exceed 4 feet in height and 6 feet across. The purple bellflowers attract pollinators continuously through the growing season. The sheer biomass a single established plant produces annually represents more free fertility than most gardeners spend money on in an entire year. Harvesting comfrey takes minutes and costs nothing. A sharp pair of scissors and a basket is all you need. Cut the stems close to the base, and the plant begins regrowing immediately. What fills your basket today is mulch for your vegetables tomorrow, liquid feed within 4 weeks, or supplemental fodder for your animals tonight. No processing required, no equipment required. Cut, carry, apply. The plant does everything else. The regenerative capacity of comfrey is genuinely extraordinary. Cut it to the ground, and it regrows from the root within weeks. Dig it up incorrectly, and every fragment of root left in the soil becomes a new plant. Traditional farmers viewed this as a feature. Once you have comfrey established, you have it forever, and you can propagate it indefinitely by dividing the root and planting pieces wherever you want fertility. A single root cutting purchased this year can become dozens of plants within 3 seasons at zero additional cost. Comfrey liquid fertilizer is one of the most potent free plant feeds available to any gardener. Fill a large barrel or bucket with comfrey leaves and cover completely with water. Leave it for 3 to 4 weeks. What you get smells extraordinarily bad and works extraordinarily well. Dilute it 10 to 1 with water and apply it around plant bases throughout the growing season. Your vegetables will not know the difference between this and expensive liquid fertilizer purchased from a garden center. Your wallet will. This is what comfrey liquid feed looks like in practice. A watering can filled with diluted comfrey tea applied directly to the base of each plant. The dark fermented liquid soaks into the root zone immediately. Potassium, nitrogen, and trace minerals delivered exactly where the plant needs them, at exactly the moment the soil releases them. No measuring, no mixing instructions, no purchase required. Just fermented leaves and water doing in 20 seconds what a bottle from a garden center takes $20 to accomplish. 2,000 years of documented use across dozens of independent European cultures is not anecdote. It is a data set of extraordinary size and duration. The healers who applied comfrey poultices to broken bones were not operating on superstition. They were observing outcomes across generations and refining their practice based on what worked. That knowledge was accumulated carefully over centuries and dismissed in a regulatory document based on rat studies using doses no human would ever encounter in traditional use. Chickens and goats consume comfrey readily, and it provides meaningful nutrition as a feed supplement. The leaves are high in protein relative to other leafy plants. A small flock or a couple of goats can be supplemented with fresh comfrey throughout the growing season, reducing your purchased feed costs continuously. The animals seek it out when it is available. Traditional European smallholders grew it specifically for this purpose, alongside its garden fertility function. One plant doing multiple jobs simultaneously at zero ongoing cost. The root system of comfrey is one of the most extraordinary in the plant kingdom. It goes down 6 feet or more into subsoil layers that no other garden plant can access. It mines minerals, potassium, calcium, phosphorus, and trace elements from deep in the earth and concentrates them in its leaves. When those leaves decompose on the surface, all of those deep minerals become available to the shallow-rooted vegetables growing beside it. It is a mineral pump that runs continuously for free. Here's your complete action plan for this week. Order comfrey root cuttings from the link in the description. Plant them 4 inches deep in a sunny location. Water once. Walk away. In 6 weeks, you will have your first harvest of leaves. Lay them around your most important vegetable plants as mulch. Watch what happens over the following 2 weeks. Then cut again. Repeat throughout the season. By next spring, your root mass will be larger, and your garden will be producing noticeably better results from free inputs that require 30 minutes of work per season. The regulatory system that restricted Comfrey in 2001 did not erase what 2,000 years of use established. Roman physicians still documented it. Medieval healers still recorded it. Traditional European farmers still practiced it. The knowledge survived because it worked, and because plants that work and that anyone can grow for free tend to survive regardless of what institutions decide about them. This knowledge survived to reach you today, specifically because it proved too useful to disappear completely, no matter how inconvenient its existence was to certain interests. Think about what your garden would look like in 10 years if you planted 3 Comfrey roots this weekend. Deep mineral cycling, operating continuously with no input from you. Liquid fertilizer available every season at zero cost. External wound care growing beside your vegetables. Animal feed supplementation from the same plant. A perennial system that improves every year rather than declining. All of it from a root cutting that costs a few dollars and requires nothing from you once it is established in your soil. The same institutions that told you Comfrey was dangerous are selling you the synthesized version of its primary active compound at premium prices in skincare products. The same regulatory environment that restricted the plant profits from the molecule. You are not required to find this ironic, but you are allowed to. And you are certainly allowed to plant Comfrey in your garden this weekend and let 2,000 years of documented human knowledge work on your behalf completely free of charge. They banned the internal use based on rat studies. They synthesized the active compound and sold it back. They called 2,000 years of traditional knowledge anecdotal. But the plant is still legal to grow. The external applications still work. The garden fertility function was never touched. And a root cutting that costs almost nothing will still be feeding your garden 20 years from now, long after every product that replaced it has been reformulated, repriced, and repackaged to extract another annual payment from anyone who forgot they could just grow it themselves. Click the link in the description right now. Order your Comfrey root cuttings this week. Plant them this weekend. In 6 weeks, you harvest your first leaves. In 1 season, your garden stops needing purchased fertilizer. In 10 years, you will have a permanent living system that heals, feeds, and fertilizes for free. 1 root, 1 weekend, 2,000 years of knowledge working for you starting now. The root cutting in your hand right now contains everything that 2,000 years of European healing knowledge was built on. Plant it this weekend. In 6 weeks, you harvest your first leaves. In 1 season, your garden produces without purchased fertilizer. In 10 years, you have a permanent living system that heals, feeds, and fertilizes for free forever. The knowledge survived to reach you. Now it is yours to use. You do not need permission to grow Comfrey. You do not need a prescription to apply a Comfrey poultice to a bruise. You do not need approval from any institution to lay Comfrey leaves around your vegetables as mulch. The external use and garden use of Comfrey has never been restricted by any regulatory body anywhere. What was restricted was internal consumption, at doses far beyond anything traditional use involved. Everything that made this plant valuable to traditional cultures for 2,000 years remains completely available to you today. Click the link in the description right now. Order Comfrey root cuttings this week. Plant 4 inches deep in any sunny spot. Cut back 3 times per year. Use the leaves as mulch, liquid feed, and animal feed. Never buy fertilizer again. 1 root. Permanent results. Start this weekend.